You know, I know y'all don't believe it, but some of you do, but everything's coded at multi-levels. Grief. So let's decode that. Even though it's right in front of you, I have to explain it. And I need to quit being sarcastic. That's not a good trait. But I'm just so frustrated people don't believe that the words reveal everything. So the letter G is 7. It is finished, right? Grief. So if the letter G is on the left-hand side, then it's somebody's trying to go back to the beginning. Even though it's done, it's finished. Whether it's losing a job, losing a marriage, losing a person, death or whatever. It's done. You can't change it. You can't go back in the past. But the reason you live in grief is because you're rethinking it over and over. If only the marriage would last. If only I wouldn't have lost that job. If only they were still alive. You're still living in something that's already done. You're trying to hash it up in your spirit, and it's finished. Now everybody goes through grief, but this is the process. If only they were still alive. If only I still had that job. If only I was still married. If, again and again, if. That's why you have to accept it, the letter G, accept the truth, it's finished, and move on. Hello. Start new. It's a new world, it's a new life. So what do you do when you're in the grieving process? You're rethinking the past. If, again, re-if. Your mind is in that cycle loop. It's finished. It's already happened. They're dead. The job is gone. The marriage is over. G, it's finished. So if you try to add to that, you go into grief because you're just thinking about something that can't be changed. It's already done. Now the grieving process, everybody goes through it, but I just showed you the decode of the word, right? The denial of the reality. So it's also like if you're dating or married to a narcissist and you realize that person never existed, that person was not even real, and so you have to go through the grief because you believed a lie. But you ought to be happy that you woke up. So living in the past is the problem. Living in a fake reality is the problem. The letter G means it's finished. Number 7, it's complete. Whatever it is had to die. It's done. The old life, you know, a lot of people get saved and some of their family or friends are not saved, and they grieve because those people are still stuck in the old world, and they know that they're going to have to leave that person behind or those people behind, because you can't live in the same. As you grow and other people around you are not growing, there's a grieving. But you don't have to grieve because you're living. But if they only got saved, if they would only listen, if they would only hear me, if they would only change, if they would only accept Christ. He says, shake the dust. Jesus says, shake the dust off your feet. If they don't receive the truth you're speaking, they don't receive me, you know. While living the past. It is finished. It's finished. It's over. It's complete. You made the decision. Now you move on. If don't exist. The letter G is over here. You can't add to G because G is finished. Now you can put the R-E and the I-F on the left-hand side of the G, but the G means complete. So you can't put something behind the letter G when it comes to something signifying completion. It takes a long time to overcome, stuff that happened in your life. So here's what's happening in everybody's life. God is disconnecting you from this place. Most people get their identity out of a house or a car or a job or a person or a family or a bloodline. Or I just dropped these people off. They said, what football team do you support? I said, I really don't watch it. I mean, Cowboys. And the mother said, see, she's just trying to start trouble because the lady was a Redskin. But this lady was like 70 years old and she's all worried about the Redskins. She knows everything about the Redskins and what's going on. I said, I haven't watched football in 20, 30 years. And they get their identity out of football teams. They get their identity out of their pocketbook, out of their shoes, out of the city they live in, out of their country, out of their state, out of their weightlifting. They get their identity out of something besides Jesus, and that's their problem. And so when you get your identity above, you really might go through a little grieving process, but you know that you have no continuing city down here. And I'm talking, when I say continuing city, I'm talking allegorically, that you have no continual sit. All this is going, one day all this will be demolished, it'll be gone. One day that dog will be dead, that one of them will be dead, spouse. I mean, this is a temporary place. But when you trust Jesus, it is finished. So you don't have to grieve leaving this place, but that's what God is doing, trying to get you to disconnect from this place. Disconnect from this reality. Disconnect from any identity down here. Any person, any name, any bloodline, whether it's your children, whether it's your parents, whether it's your grandparents. God is trying to get you to disconnect from trusting anything here and to only trust Him. And I'm talking about in everything. And as you get older in time, it starts to happen. You start to wake up just automatically, like, I don't care about cowboy and Indians. I don't care about that. I don't care. But as a little kid, she thinks that's a big deal because her grandmother talks about it. And she was like a sneaky. The grandmother saw through her and she said, she's just trying to start trouble. I said, I really don't. I said Cowboys, but I really don't support any of them. I said it's a shame they had to change the Redskins to another name. She said, yeah, it is a shame. I said, because it's always been the Redskins. Cowboy and Indians, There's a reason they named it that. No identity in your human body, no identity in your job, your career, your money status, your property, your health, your looks, nothing. You don't get when you're on the deathbed and you're done, you have to give up all identity down here. So why not do it now? And then you don't have to go through the grieving process. Just at this moment in time, get no identity in no person, place, or thing. Let it all go, and your identity is totally in Christ, and you won't have to grieve as much as these people, because a lot of these people, they can't even function. G, it is finished. It's finished. lose your identity in this place and gain eternal identity in Christ. That's the secret. No matter what happens, your identity is in Christ and Christ alone. Then, instead of being this way, you're a steady state.